Okay, now we'll be reviewing set D, G, and H for topic 7. So we're estimating, and you can still be using your benchmark fractions to help you out. So for number 1, 3 1/4 is closer to 3, and 1 1/2 is closer to 2, so we estimate that as a 1. For number 2, 5 2/9 is it closer to 5 or 6? Closer to 5. And 4 11/13 is closer to 5, so we'll estimate that to 10. 2 3/8 is closer to 2. 4/8 would be at half, so 3/8 is less. So we say closer to 2 on that one. And 5 3/5 would be closer to 6. So we'll put that at 8. Number 4, 9 3/7 closer to 9. 6 2/5 closer to 6. We get a 3 on that one. For number 5, 8 5/6 is closer to 9, and 2 1/2 is closer to 3. 9 minus 3 equals 6. For number 6, 7 3/4 closer to 8. 5 1/8 close to 5, and we're adding on that one, so we get 13. 11 5/12 closer to 11. 6/12 would be at a half, and 7/8 closer to 1, and we are adding, so we get 12 for that. For number 8, 13 4/5 is closer to 14, minus 8 1/6, and 1/6 is close to 0, so we're going to just drop it, and 14 minus 8 is 6. And for number 9, a mark on the side of a pier shows the water is 4 7/8 feet deep. At high tide, the water rises 2 1/4 feet. About how deep is the water at high tide? And we'll say 4 7/8 is probably going to round to about 5. And if we add 5 1/4, or 2 1/4 rounds down to 2. So we'll say it's about 7 feet at high tide. Moving on to set G. Okay, set G. Remember, when you add or subtract mixed numbers, rename the fractional parts to have a common denominator. So number 1, 5 1/2 plus 2 1/8. 2 goes into 8, so I can leave that 1/8 alone. And 1/2 renames to 4/8. So when I add the fractions, I have 5/8. The whole numbers, I have 7/8. So I'm going to have 7 5/8. And for number 2, I have 7 5/6 minus 3 2/3. 3 goes into 6, so I can leave that guy alone and just change this one. And I'm doing some subtraction here. So 7 minus 3 is 4, so we have 4 1/6. For number 3, 3 1/4 plus 1 5/6. 6 and 4. I could multiply them and get 24, or I could take the bigger number 6 and start skip counting, and I know I can stop at 12. So I get smaller numbers to work with there. It's kind of a little easier. 13 over 12, and oops. Yep. 4 13/12, and 13/12, because I can see that's an improper fraction, is going to equal 1 1/12. So 4 plus 1 1/12 is going to equal 5 1/12 for number 3. For number 4, I have the whole number 9 minus the mixed number 3 3/8. Going to need to do some renaming there. And I'm going to bring, I borrowed 1, but I'm going to bring it over as 8/8 because I already have an 8 in the denominator of the existing fraction 3/8. So 8/8 minus 3/8 is 5/8. 8 minus 3 is 5. So I wind up with 5 5/8. And for number 5, I need some more space here, and 6, we have several different things going on here. So we're going to have 2 problems for each. I'm going to first need to do what's in the parentheses first. always what's inside and then move to what's outside. So I'm going to add these guys first. 6 and 4, my common denominator is 12. And you will get to the point where you have those memorized. And now I'm going to take my total, which was the value inside the parentheses, and subtract out. My next value was 1 and 5/12. So, and when I do my subtraction, I get 4 and 6/12, which can be renamed to 4 and 1/2. And for number 6, I'm going to have 4 and 4/5, add 7 and 1/3, 3 and a 5, multiply them together. 15 is a common multiple. Oops. 3 times 5, so 1 times 5. 5 times 3, so 4 times 3. And I'm adding 17 over 15, and 7 and 4 is 11. So now I have 11 and 17/15 minus 1 and 7/15. I do not have to change this into I don't have to change this into a mixed number yet. I can wait till I'm done subtracting. So now I have 10 and 10/15, and 10 and 15 have the common factor of 5. So I wind up with 10 and 2/3 as my final answer for number 6. My next set is going to be H. Actually, it's my last set. So this one, you're just taking the word problem, making a bar diagram, and solving it. So how would we solve this problem? Justin jogs 3 2/5 miles every morning. He jogs 4 6/10 miles every evening. How many miles does he jog every day? So our diagram would be, you would be adding those two values together, 3 2/5 plus 4 6/10, and we'll get the total number that he jogs. So that's how you would use your diagram. I'm going to add over here. I can leave 6/10 alone and just rename the 2/5, and 7 and 10/10. Remember, 10/10 equals 1, so that's going to be 8. So his J equals 8. He jogs a total of 8 miles. Last year, Mia planted a tree that was 5 11/12 feet tall. This year, the tree is 7 2/3 feet tall. How many feet did the tree grow? So we want to take the tree this year is this big, and last year it was this big. So we're trying to find out how much did it grow. So in this case, we have a subtraction problem. And looking at our denominators, I can leave 11/12 alone and rename 2/3 into 8/12. And subtracting here, I can't take 11 away from 8, so I'm going to have to regroup. And I'm going to bring 1 over as 12/12. So now I have 20/12 minus 11/12 equals 9/12. And when I come over to my whole numbers, 1 and 9/12. And 1 and 9/12, I know I can take that 9/12 and divide it by the common factor of 3. So I'll get 3/4. So I actually wind up with 1 3/4 feet. So back here, my growth was 1 3/4 of a foot. There you go.